My sister Reagan had been lying for as long as I could remember. Not tiny lies like I already did my homework or I didn't eat the last cookie. I mean huge lies that she would defend no matter what. When she was 16, she convinced everyone she got accepted into a modeling agency in Switzerland. She printed fake contracts, edited photos of herself, and even pretended to talk to agents on the phone. Our parents almost sent her overseas before my mom called the agency and found out it was all fake. The agency was actually some online boyfriend she'd been hiding. At 18, a popular football player rejected her. A few days later, she accused him of assault. We later found messages on her phone where she bragged about how believable her story sounded. We reported everything immediately, but Reagan acted like we betrayed her. As the years passed, the lies only became bigger. For the last 4 months, Reagan told everyone she was studying abroad in Beijing and learning Mandarin Chinese. This time, even we believed her. She posted pictures at famous Chinese landmarks, shared selfies with a host family, and even spoke a few Chinese phrases during video calls with our parents. Then last Saturday, she suddenly came home for a surprise visit. That night, she was standing in the kitchen on her phone when our 6-year-old brother Max ran in holding a granola bar covered in Chinese writing. "Reagan," Max said excitedly, "what does this say? Can I eat it?" I noticed Reagan freeze for a second. She stared at the wrapper like she was trying to figure it out. "Oh," she said confidently, "it says chocolate, oats, and honey." Max pointed at another section. "What about this?" "That's just nutrition information," she replied quickly. "Healthy ingredients." He kept asking questions, and Reagan kept making things up. She claimed the brand name meant morning energy and said it was organic. "Can I eat it?" Max asked. "Yeah, you're fine," Reagan said casually. Max opened it and took a bite. About half a minute later, he started coughing. At first, it sounded small, but then it got worse. He grabbed his throat and started wheezing. "Reagan," I said nervously, "did you check if it had peanuts?" Her face instantly lost color. Max had a severe peanut allergy. Within seconds, his lips began swelling. Mom and Dad rushed into the kitchen after hearing us scream. Dad grabbed the EpiPen from the hallway cabinet, but after checking it, his expression changed. "It expired 6 months ago." Mom snatched the wrapper off the counter and immediately spotted the peanut warning printed clearly on the back. "There are peanuts in this!" Dad turned toward Reagan. "Where's the new EpiPen? You picked it up 2 weeks ago." Reagan just stood there shaking. "Reagan!" Dad yelled. Finally, she whispered, "I didn't pick it up." Mom stared at her in disbelief. "I used the money for clothes," Reagan admitted. "I was going to replace it later." Max could barely breathe by then. Mom was crying while calling 911. Dad looked completely broken. Thankfully, the paramedics arrived in time and used their own EpiPen. The doctors later told us that if help had arrived even 10 minutes later, Max probably wouldn't have survived. At the hospital, Reagan finally admitted everything. She never went to Beijing. She never studied Chinese. She had actually been living in Bulgaria with an older man who paid for everything. And then, just minutes after confessing, Dad's phone buzzed. A $20,000 bank transfer had arrived from Bulgaria. Reagan looked down and quietly said, "That's from my sugar daddy."